everybody, it's Brookie. It's a beautiful day in West Virginia, and what we're looking at is the O Roundhouse. This was built around 24. The B&O Railroad was built around that time in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, which connected from Harper's Ferry to Martinsburg to Cumberland, Maryland. And what we're looking at with the Roundhouse, very historical landmark. I think it's on the registry since 2003. This Roundhouse has a few interesting things about it. It was burned to the ground during the Civil War by, I believe it was General Stonewall Jackson ordered it to be burned to the ground. At that time, all the trains that were here were toppled over by horses tied to ropes. They would topple over the railroad cars. So essentially, to thwart, I believe, the Union soldiers. But this roundhouse was burned to the ground, and I think it was rebuilt somewhere in between 1824 to 1860 something. Not too sure about that, but it was burned to the ground. They don't use it essentially now for railroad cars or trains. I'd love to go in, but we don't have access. But there's a turnabout inside of the building where they would put the railroad cars on the turnabout. So this place has historical precedence as well as historical history, but apparently it has a lot of paranormal activity as well. I know this October they're having a Halloween costume ball here, and I think people have also filmed paranormal shows. I was told a few months ago they were filming here and 2 participants were attacked physically by spirit activity or entities, and they were scratched on their backs. So that's the Roundhouse in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's very beautiful and kind of spooky. It's a beautiful garden that they have had here for many, many years. Just up around the corner from the railroad station. I believe that's jasmine, but don't quote me. And this house right here we're looking at is the Belle Museum. Belle Boyd, you can Google her. She was a young Confederate spy in the Civil War. And this is the Belle Boyd house. And it's open for tours and such, and there's a lot of history about Belle Boyd. And right across the street is a garden, the gazebo. But Belle Boyd was a young Confederate spy. And this is the back of the Belle Boyd house. And they have a little garden here. What we're standing in front of now is the Apollo Theater in Martinsburg, and there's Annabeth. Say hi, Abby.
Hi.
The Apollo Theater. It's a grand old theater inside. They're having Chicago the musical. The Apollo Theater caught fire as well a long time ago, and apparently there's a resident ghost named George who smokes cigars. They smell cigar smoke George inhabits the Apollo, but I wish we could go inside because it's really grand.
It is.
It's an old theater. It's really, really cool. So there's the Apollo. And we are on Martin Street.
Like Martinsburg.
In Martinsburg.
Yeah, get it.
And here we go. And now we are looking at the old King's Daughter Hospital, which was once a hospital here in Martinsburg. It's now condemned, although it kind of looks like somebody's living there. This is on Queen Street. Is this Queen Street? No, King Street. We're on King Street in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I'm not sure when this was built. King's Daughter Hospital. It's been around for a long time. And apparently there's paranormal activity there. And I think there is reportedly a woman who occupies, like a ghostly woman occupies that building. But don't quote me on that. But that's an old piece of history. So we're just going to walk and we're going to talk. And here we are on we're still on Martin Street again. We were down there earlier looking at the Apollo. And we're up here at the old Shenandoah Ballroom Hotel, which back in its heyday, believe it or not, in the 30s and 40s, famous Hollywood actors stayed here, actresses such as Lucille Ball, Debbie Reynolds, and no one occupies it now. There are some shops here, and this place is apparently rich with paranormal activity as well. They have ghost tours here. The old Shenandoah Hotel. And this is the side of it. It's, I guess, 4 floors, well 5, counting that. This place over here used to be a video rental place back in the day when you could rent VHS tapes. And they had a basement downstairs, which I always went down to, and they had a big cutout cardboard of Marilyn Monroe leading down to the basement where you could get all the really cool, obscure movies from the 80s. But it's not there anymore. Now it's Dolly's Bake Shop. So anyway, the old Shenandoah. Hey everybody, we're standing on an old bridge outside of Martinsburg in West Virginia. This is the Apechan Creek. And we're standing on the old 1-lane bridge, which is now closed. And this is the new bridge, which is now a 2-lane bridge. And there was a flood this summer, so that's all the debris that washed up along the creek bed. It's pretty massive. But we came down here this summer and swam before all this happened. But it's a really cool old bridge, and here's a sign that's an inscription. This bridge was built in 1832, built by Silas Harry of Pennsylvania. Something, I don't know what that says. Then Daniel Burkhardt, Jacob Van something, and then John somebody, so they have the names of the men. I think it might say commissioners. And then down here's a sign. I'll walk you to it. This bridge was here a long time. It's called the Vanmetre Ford Bridge. And I'll show you the sign here. But here's more of the debris. So I don't know how they're going to get all this stuff out of here. Here's a tractor. Look at the little guy. You see that a lot near farmlands in West Virginia. Guys on their John Deere tractors. Okay, Vanmetre Ford Bridge. Named for the property owners, the stone bridge built in 1832 across the Apechan Creek was major improvement for travelers. Connecting Alexandria, Virginia and Bath, Virginia. Now Bath, Virginia is now Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. So this was built before West Virginia became a union and became its own state. West Virginia used to be Virginia. Silas Harry erected at local expense. It cost $3,700 to build this bridge. It cost $3,700 to build the bridge back in 1832. And we might walk down and show you some parts of the bridge underneath because it's really pretty. This is a little magical spot. It's actually very peaceful. Nobody's down here today. And it's a great little swimming hole. You know, creeks in West Virginia, as I'm sure, creek beds, a lot of other places. Don't do that. You're scared me to death. She's leaning over the... Honey, do you have a death wish? Because I don't for you. Many parts of the creek are deep. Many parts of the creek are shallow. So now we're down underneath of the bridge. I was up here. We were up here. And it has 3 tunnels that you could go under with your canoe or tubing. A lot of people do tubing on the creeks and the rivers here. You can see right here these triangle cone-shaped. There's 2 of them. They're very beautiful. And when all this debris wasn't here, we were swimming around right through here. It was really quite lovely. It's a very, very pretty spot. But that's from the flood. We had a lot of rain. What month was that? Like July or August?
July.
We had a lot of
June,
rain.
July,
We had a lot of rain, and actually the water, I believe, was covering that bridge. So, and all this stuff floated down. But it's a magical spot anyway. There's some grasses. And so this bridge was built essentially 40 years before West Virginia, where I live and where I'm from, became a state. It cost $3,700 to build. And not a bad investment because it's been here for 165 years. 165 years. And it's solid as a rock, so they did a really, really good job. Considering that probably back then, horse carriages, horses, buggies, seeing a lot of foot traffic, a lot of car traffic, a lot of horse traffic. A lot of people have crossed that bridge, so it's ancient.
Ancient Greece.
It's ancient. Here's some West Virginia wildflowers that you see around this time of year. That might be goldenrod. I'm not for certain, and that's some sort of daisy. Here's a little bee. Beautiful little field next to the bridge. I did see some cows in the distance, but I don't know where they are. You can really start to feel, it's starting to feel like fall here now. And then I think through there might be a little stream. And then over this way is where the creek's running. Yeah. It's Brookie. It's a magical walk and talk. We're just tootling around, and I'm here at a cemetery in West Virginia. Actually, this is where my grandmother is buried on my dad's side, my dad's mom. But we're just tooling around. It's Sunday afternoon, and it's sunny and kind of cloudy. It was blue skies this morning. Praying for everybody in the hurricane down south, Florida, the Caribbean. I know it's going to hit Florida this afternoon. Keeping fingers crossed and praying for you if you live in that part of the country. And we're just having a magical day. This cemetery is unusual. It's all flat markers. It's pretty huge. We're just in one section of it, and my grandmother is buried back that way. And I often come to see her, even though I didn't know her that well. She died, I think I was like 6 months old as she passed. So there are benches you can sit here. It's actually quite nice, and it's very quiet. And it's amazing to see all the plots have flowers. Every single one of them. There may be a few here and there that don't. But they pretty much all have flowers. So I'm gonna sit. Thanks for everyone who watched my Doreen Virtue. People are talking video. That got more response than many of my videos normally get. So that was kind of interesting to post and to speak about the Doreen Virtue controversy. Controversial. It still is being talked about. And I'm pretty sure that she already has felt the backlash. Hi, honey. And so thank you to everyone who watched that, who commented, etc. And hopefully hopefully that will die down soon and people can move on with their lives. Hopefully. So we're just chilling out. It's September 10th.
Yeah.
It's still it's about 70, close to like 75 today. It's still a little warm. It's a little cool in the evening time though. Gets a little cool. This is pretty neat, this cross here. If you can see that. It's like a stained glass cross. Let me walk out this way. My filming skills aren't that great, I apologize. It's kind of cool. So I hope you enjoyed your September. Tarot forecast. I was going to do a love reading for the month. I still might do like a mid-month love reading. I'm trying to kind of steer away from love readings on YouTube, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So many people do them. And I watch love readings on YouTube myself. I have my favorites, my favorite readers. And I try not to do, kind of steering away from doing love readings on YouTube because it's kind of so everyone does it, and a lot of them are really, really good, and I don't know, I just want to go into a different arena, you know. Maybe I was talking about doing like a spirit guide reading for the month on YouTube and stuff like that, so kind of steering away from doing love readings on YouTube. Now, private readings, of course I do love readings, but it's kind of interesting to you know, just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and experimenting. Thanks, Avie. Yeah. Thanks, Avie. She's my editorial assistant today, my assistant director. Here comes a car. We're the only ones here, but here comes a car. So I hope you are having a fabulous day wherever you are. And Mercury's gone direct. Hallelujah. That was the strangest 3 weeks of my life. I'm not kidding. When it came to, and you know, I'm not an astrologer, and I don't like it when, I just don't like when people kind of freak out about Mercury retrograde, especially when it comes to not taking a job or not signing a contract, or don't purchase this or don't purchase that. But you know what? As time goes on, I'm becoming a bigger believer in communication breakdown with Mercury retrograde, because I had terrible communication in relationships during this Mercury retrograde for a period of 3 weeks. It was out the gate. It was like one thing after the other with people. And I was just like, I don't even want to leave the house, you know. I don't even want to leave the house. But anyway, I better quiet down. Someone's visiting a loved one. But yeah, I'm glad Mercury's direct. Amen. And of course, everything's out in the stores for Halloween.
Yeah,
and I'm already.
Party City.
We have a Party City that just opened here. Ever been to Party City? And it's just fun to see all the Halloween stuff out. I think it's a little too early, but it's still fun anyway. So I'm wanting to get into some Halloween stuff. Avie, oh thanks. And what's that flying? Do you see that bird?
That's
There's some big bird flying over.
It's like a hawk or something.
I don't know. So and I'm all into burning the autumn season scented candles, and I'm not very much into pumpkin spice.
You are not?
I don't really like pumpkin spice. I
It's
prefer
good.
like apple cider scents. So anyway, I'm getting into the swing of things in terms of Halloween, and really looking forward to the change of seasons, and wanting to do more magical things on camera. I hope you're enjoying these magical walk and talks. You know, they're fun for me to do, and I take my daughter with me, and it's just fun to show you parts of West Virginia where I live. And I don't have a fancy equipment in terms of cameras and stuff, but I do what I can do to take you guys around. So I hope that you enjoy them as much as I enjoy them. I love your comments that people leave. Thank you so much for leaving me comments. And I've been doing these now for a year. I think my first one was about a year or so ago. So I've been doing them for about a year now. And it's just a lot of fun. One day I just came up with this idea. Came to my head, kind of like a vlog style thing. And something said, call it Magical Walk and Talk. And it just kind of like came out. Lightning in a bottle. So anyway, everybody, have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Magical Walk and Talk. And take care, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.
See, I'm a good cameraman. Or woman, or whatever you're called.
We're visiting another cemetery.
Oh, God!
cemetery. Actually, we're here for a reason, which I'll tell you in a minute.